Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Fitz, and welcome to my Warren Hills Cancun Jazz Festival review. This is episode number 4, and the first thing I like to say is, don't call it a comeback. Well, maybe it is a comeback. I've been away for a while because so much has happened since I started uploading videos for this particular review. Of course, the pandemic hit and I was affected. We lost someone on my wife's side of the family, which was traumatic, stressful, and just so much to deal with all of that and all of that stress, the lockdowns and everything else. Then, of course, we had all the social justice issues and the George Floyd killing and I was angered like a lot of you regarding that, so I I got to do something. So I was out there protesting as well in some of the marches and just supporting those organizations that are also trying to help and combat the social justice issues in this nation. And then of the political unrest and all the craziness going on with that. So I kind of pushed this to the side and because it just didn't seem all that important at the time. But I'm back. So I kind of want to pick this back up because, of course, last year, all of the festivals, the Soul Fest, the jazz festivals were all canceled due to the pandemic. But they appear to be back on the calendar for this year. So hopefully we'll be able to have those festivals this year. And I want to have a Q&A because I received some questions over the last several months. And first of all, I apologize for getting back late to some of you as it relates to your questions about the Jazz Festival. So I selected a few of those. And so in this episode, I'm going to answer some of the questions that were submitted via the YouTube channel. So if anybody else has any questions about the Cancun Jazz Festival, submit them. Let me know down in the comments. Let me know if you have any questions about anything, and I'll do my best to answer them. So let's kind of jump right in. So the first question I want to address is about the seating arrangement. When my wife and I were looking at booking, we went back and forth about whether we should purchase seats, the reserved seats or not. We were looking at the chart and the map, and it's difficult to gauge, the distance from the stage and all of that. So what we ended up doing was we said, let's go ahead and reserve seats so that, number one, we aren't rushing to get to a venue to try to find a seat. And so that way, if we're at dinner or just running late, it kind of takes the stress off of that part of it because we weren't sure where the general admission seats were, which were free. So you don't have to purchase seats. You don't have to reserve seats. You can just use general admission. But we didn't know where those were exactly seated. You kind of see them in the graph, but still we weren't sure. So we decided, let's just head and purchase seats. And I do believe it was a good choice. Now, when we arrived, the first thing we did after we checked in and got to the hotel or got to the rooms, we walked around the property, just checking the sites, seeing where everything is at, trying to get used to where the restaurants are, where the pools are, blah, blah, blah. And we came to the outdoor section where they have the outdoor concerts right there close to the coastal beach here, right in the middle of the property. And they started putting out seats. And so I told my wife, hey, let's see if we can find out where our seats are. So I had all my reservation information on my phone, which I highly recommend. So whether you do printouts or have it on your phone, just make sure you have a copy of all of that, especially your seats. And so I pulled out our reservation where our seats were, and we found our seats because the chairs are labeled. Now, there are various sections of the seats. So you have the very first area right there by the stage. That is your diamond section. So your diamond section, I believe they have tables there. I believe you can also have food. I think they have people waiting on you in those areas. So it's the very first area right in front of the stage. So right behind there you have platinum, then you have gold, silver, bronze, and then you have general admission. So the general admission are just first come, first serve seats. Now, there's not really a bad seat at these venues. but they are arranged a little bit differently from the outdoor venue versus the convention center. At the outdoor venue, which was really cool, I really liked sitting outside at night at the concert. We did have an issue with that though. I'll tell you about that here in a second. But the seating is all kind of in a straight line going back, right? So you have that diamond, platinum, silver. And so the general seats are behind the bronze. Those seats are kind of further back. And so those are probably the worst. And I say that, which is subjective, but that's not the worst place to be. It is kind of further back. You do have some cameras, so I think certain sections may be obstructed. And then, of course, all the people walking to find seats. But that's how that kind of layout is. And when we first went to the first concert, it was Brian Culberson. And when we got there were people in these long lines. My wife and I are trying to figure out what's everybody in line for. And so I said, well, I know where we're seating. Let's just go to our seats. And so we walked the line, bypassed everybody, went and sat down, and come to find out, those people were they were talking to the attendants and try to help find out where those seats were. So you can skip all of that. If you can, find out where your seats are before you start attending the concerts. They are labeled. So the chairs are literally all white outside. And then I forgot what color they are indoors. So the chairs aren't colored based on your reserved seats, but there's a little band, a little thing across the chairs that have your reservation section. So whatever bronze, whatever you're in, and that chair number, you'll see it on the chair, like a little ribbon that goes around sort of the back seat part of it, so you can find your seats. Plus, when you check in, your wristband is supposed to match whatever seat section you reserve. So my wife and I, we were in the bronze section. So we were supposed to be getting a bronze colored wristband. They actually gave us a silver one. So when you check in, and go back and look at my check-in video, you go get your hotel stuff first, then you go to the venue check-in, and that's where they give you the little grab bag, they give you the coffee mugs, a map of the place, schedule of everything, and they give you a wristband, which is supposed to match your seats. Ours didn't, but it wasn't a problem because we had already looked into where our seats were. And then we actually went and talked to someone from Music Getaways, and they said, well, it's not a problem, just don't worry about it, get another band. So it was cool, but just make sure you get the right one. So that's one thing. And so, but here's a funny story. So we're there on the first night, and we are enjoying the concert. If you guys know Brian Culberson, he puts on a great show. And I noticed the temperature dropped, and it got just a little cooler, and the wind picked up. Now, I live in Florida. So every year during the summer months into the fall, we have a rainy season. It rains like every day mid-afternoon for like 5 or 10 minutes, and then it's gone, and then it goes. And that's what happens. You can feel the temperature drop. It can get a little cool. Sometimes the wind kicks up. And then I told my wife, I said, it's getting ready to rain. And we're right on the Gulf Coast. And so surely enough, I start feeling a little tinkle, right? A little sprinkle of rain. And my wife says, what do you want to do? I said, well, let's hold off and let's see. And so it starts raining a little bit more. So I said, let's go. So we got up and went and stood by the resort hotel rooms under the breezeway. And we just stood there. And about 5 minutes later, it was pouring rain. Man, and all the people started getting up and running to get out the rain. And poor little Brian Culberson, he didn't know what was going on. He was like, man, where y'all going? And then as soon as that rain starts coming down where he was on the stage, I guess the water probably came through from the cover. He and his band all left. So, man, we only got to see Brian it might have been 20 minutes into his concert before it got canceled due to rain. Now, they were going to move him to the indoor arena in the convention center, but his equipment got wet. So there was no backup. So we missed out. So that was kind of a bummer. So anyway, now when it comes to the convention center, like I think it's the DECA, and I forgot the other convention center, but in there, the seats are pretty much arranged the same. So you can easily go and find where you are if you already know where your seats are based on the outdoor layout. But the general admission setup is different. So the general admission seats are on the side. So they're on the side about not even halfway up, but they're on the side. So I say maybe 3/4 in all the way towards the back. So that's where the general admission seats are. And the indoor venues at the convention centers aren't identical. So one is smaller, and I think it's the DECA one that's smaller. So if you're facing the convention center, it's the one on the left. I think that one was a little bit smaller venue, so that means you have a little bit smaller general admission. And then the other convention center, which is on the right, which is where we checked in, that's the largest venue. It is huge, and so there's more seating there, but still the general admission seats are on the outer sides, outside. And for some shows, you saw people running to get a good general admission seat. But if you reserved them, you don't have that problem. So also, here's a bonus tip when it comes to reserving seats. And this is what I did not expect. But you're around other people who also have reserved seats, obviously. So you get a chance to see the same people and you get a chance to meet them. So you have a little community right there. You know, we met the couple in front of us. They were from California. There was 2 guys behind us, and we were chit-chatting with them. And then eventually, you know, hey man, what's going on? Hey, what's up? Good to see you. Oh, so y'all made it back. And there was a group of ladies that was to the left of us. So you got a chance to build a little bit of a community and kind of enhance the experience. So that's a huge bonus part that I felt that was really cool. And so if you have the reserved seats, you actually get a chance to know the people right there around you. Of course, you would see them around the resort, you know, chit chat. Hey, what's going on, man? How'd you like the show? Talk about the music and everything else that was going on. You get a chance. So I hope you take advantage of of meeting people in that community feel with the reserved seats. So be on the lookout for that. All right. Question number 2 was how far the distance was between the concert. So from where we were, of course, we were in the outer band hotels area. We were in building 1. So from there to the convention center, it's not a long walk, about 10 minutes. You can walk literally anywhere on this property. You can catch a shuttle. If you go to the main lobby, the Hacienda or the Heaven lobby, they do have shuttles that go back and forth, but normally there's a wait, if it depends on how you time it. So by the time you wait for a shuttle, you can walk and already be there. So it's not far, unless you have some kind of health or walking problems, then you may want to use the shuttle. The shuttles don't come all the way to the room. So if your rooms are like we were building 1 or 2 or one of the other outer sides of the Hacienda, they don't come necessarily to your room. I guess you could probably call and have one come. But other than that, you have to walk to the Hacienda or the Heaven lobby. Also, it did rain a couple of days we were there, so you actually can walk all the way to the convention center without ever going outside and getting wet. When we first got there, we didn't know that. We'd walk and we'd go outside and walk to the venue, but you actually can walk through the corridors. They go all the way to the convention center. You have to go downstairs if you're on the upper level, and then you just walk on the breezeway and everything's covered, and so you can get there without getting wet. Second question, is it best to book through the Hard Rock or through the Jazz Festival website? So first of all, you have to book through the Jazz Festival website, because for those who don't know, whenever you're booking one of these kind of festivals, you actually go through a travel agent, which is Music Getaways. So Music Getaways, which I believe is owned by Warren Hill, that is your travel agent. So they make all the arrangements with the Hard Rock Hotel. So you can't go to the Hard Rock to reserve or to book your trip. So you have to go through the Cancun Jazz Festival website, which is just really the marquee, but the company behind all of that is the Music Getaways, right? So when you pay them, they in turn pay the hotel. So When you are paying your money to Music Getaways, it's already spent, right? So they've already, booked the agreement with the Hard Rock, in terms of the rooms and the venues and food and all that kind of stuff. So that's why trying to get your money back is difficult. So make sure you read the fine print before you agree to this trip, so you know what the refund policies are. And because it was pandemonium when the pandemic hit, trying to get through to someone, and they got flooded with calls. So you can imagine how all that went. Now, obviously the pandemic was unexpected, it was new, and Music Getaway actually tried to change their policies. I know for those of you who went, you probably got emails looking at the updated policies regarding cancellation due to the pandemic. So make sure, and I do want to go over that. So at some point we need to go through all that during this review, take a look at that. What time to check in? I'm not exactly sure what time you check. Now they know when you're arriving, when everybody's arriving. So whenever you arrive, your check-in is available, right? Because whenever you go to the booking tool, you go to your personal profile, you have to put in your flight and the time your flight's supposed to arrive. So the music festival, everybody with Warren Hills Group, they all have everybody's flight information, so they know when you'll arrive. So just whenever you get to the hotel, your check-in should be available. So I think that's all the questions I wanted to address right now. So thank you so much for being patient with me. I hope this information is valuable. In the next video, we're going to take a look at the outdoor amenities. Also, if there's any questions that come in, I am looking at my feeds and looking at my YouTube chat and comments daily. So if I see those, I'm going to try to get back to you. So if we have anything that's pertinent, I'll have a Q&A first in the next video, then we'll go into the review. Well, anyway, this is Fitz. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you find this to be valuable, I appreciate a thumbs up. And if you want to, you can go and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell as well. And I will see you in the next video. Take care.